Hi players, bonjour from Paris. My name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun doing an epic 4-faction, 1-chapter playthrough of Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor and its 2 expansions, the Arch Nemesis and Titans of the First Age, and some other surprises that we're going to see throughout the video. Now this is not going to be a regular video that I'm really doing an explanatory playthrough. Of course, I'm going to explain some of the things that I'm doing, but this is really more about having fun. And because it's not an explanatory playthrough, I'm warning you ahead, I am going to do some mistakes. Some of them I've corrected, some of them are just going to stay like this. But this is what I love so much about this game and this company that basically is telling you, you know what, just have fun and don't worry about any kind of mistakes that you're going to do. So, ready to see this beast on the table? Let the fun playthrough begin. Alright guys, so we have a lot to cover over here, especially because we're using the 2 expansions and some other small expansions and additions to this game. So I'm going to dive directly into the gameplay itself, and we'll talk about things as we're going to see them. The first player is going to draw and read the next event. So we're going to take the event from chapter 1 right over here, and let's see what do we have. Every player may place 1 action point on the trade action to gain 1 item from the market they can use, or you can put 2 of these action points for an item they could not use. And then we're going to place 1 horde at threat 4 in the Screaming Sea, not adjacent to a haven. So let's actually start with that. So we're going to take the first horde card that we can see right over here, and that is the Siren. So let's see, first of all, we're going to resolve the immediate effect, and that is the heroes with the lowest gil, I hope that I'm pronouncing this word correctly, place their standee on her hex. So first of all, let's understand where is she going to appear. Now, I'm going to immediately do 2 things that we haven't seen in the base game. First of all is that we're going to draw 1 Bane. Now, Banes are something that are going to make our enemies a little bit stronger, like the word strong enough before. So we're going to have this sack right over here, and inside we have some tokens that are going to give some sort of an advantage to that specific horde or legion. So the first one that we're taking is called Trail of Bones. And in the activation, place 2 skeletons with the curse over here. So that is pretty strong for them. And then we're going to do another thing, and we can see that we have here something that is called blessing cards. Now, usually with the blessing cards, you're only going to use them if you're following the rules, of course. If one of the 3 things have happened, if we have 3 skeletons form a horde, any hex places a horde or a legion, or any quest places a horde or legion. I'm going to a little bit house rule this thing right over here, because we're going to do only 2 chapters, and I really want you to see what's going on. So we're going to take a blessing card, okay, a random one after we've mixed it, and we're going to put it under the horde card itself. And when we're going to destroy this siren, that player is going to receive the blessing card that will give him a specific bonus. So let's attach both of them right over here at threat level 4, right, as we were indicated. And we're going to take this Bane and put it on top of it, and we're going to put it aside for now. It's not going to be in the frame. Then we're going to need to take the standee, so it's right over here. And we were instructed to put it in the Screaming Sea, not adjacent to a haven. So the Screaming Sea, let's see, going to start from here and goes all the way over there. So not adjacent to a haven gives us not a lot of possibilities. I think that we're going to try and put this one right over here. Now we're going to look for the hero or heroes with the lowest gil, and we're going to put their standees over there. So even though it's off the screen right now, it's going to be actually 2 heroes. We're going to have here Zaydine. I hope again that I'm pronouncing it correctly, the Scourge, that is from the Pirates, and also it's going to be Kal the Destroyer that we remember from the base game. So those 2 heroes, unfortunately, are going to pass directly over here to the same hexagon as the Siren. Moving on, we need to place 1 horde at threat 4 in the Fog Grave. So again, we're going to take 1 horde. As we can see right over here, it's going to be the Lich Queen, and the immediate effect is place 1 curse on her hex. So let's first of all understand where we're going to put it. And also we're going to take one blessing cards, just like we saw before. We're going to attach them together at a threat level 4. And again, we're going to take one of these banes that are going to make this enemy even stronger. So we can see that we have here skeletal archers. And this is some sort of bonus that will be in the archery phase when we're going to face this enemy. And we're going to take the Lich Queen, and again we need to put her in the Fog Grave, not adjacent to a haven. So we don't have a lot of options, right, because both of these hexes are adjacent to this haven. So basically let's save some time, and it's going to be on this hexagon right over here. And we're going to resolve the immediate effect, and that means to put a curse on this hexagon right over here. So now every player, if they wishes to, they can put one of these action points on the market in order to take an item from the market that they can use, or to put 2 of them in case they have something that they cannot use, but still they will be able to acquire it and use it later because they've put 2 action points, and this is what the chapter is indicating. So let's put the chapter right back where it belongs. So let's start with the yellow player that, as you can see right over here, is the starting player. He has this massive, way over the head Soviet medal that is going to indicate that he's the first player. This comes with the Deluxe components, and we're going to see which item they're going to take. So just to make things a little bit quicker, I'm going to grab the first card that we can see right over here, because in the 2 others he cannot use, and I don't want to waste for him 1 action point. So we're going to take this 1 action point and put it already here on the market. And we're going to slide this card because it says that he's going to receive 1 more leadership to his hero, and then we're going to put it under the hero card just like this to indicate that he has 1 more blue die when he needs to roll his hero's dice. Immediately after that, we're going to take 1 more item card. Let's see what we have over here. So I'm going to do it a little bit fast forward, okay? I don't want to lose too much time. So I'm just going to do it off the screen right now, and later I will show you what each hero has received. All right, so after we finish that, we're going to move on with our chapter tracker, which again is something that comes with the Deluxe components, which is again way over the head, sort of a chapter tracker, but it's pretty cool. I like it. So the next thing that we need to do is to place 1 activation token on each one of our hordes. So again, we're going to take something that we can find with the Deluxe component. So it's kind of cool, these small golden coins. So we're going to put it over the 2 hordes as an activation tokens. And we're going to move on in the chapter tracker to the next thing that we need to do, and that is the build phase. So first of all, each hero will now need to draw 2 feats, choose 1, and put at the bottom of the deck the other one. So again, I'm going to do it right now only for the first player, and then later I'm going to do it off the screen for the other players, and I'm going to explain it a little bit later. So I'm going to take 2 of these cards, and let's see what we have over here. The first thing that we can see is something that is called Rebel Marksman, and this is something that is going to help us in the archery. Flip this to roll any of your white dice. This is pretty cool. And the other one that we can see right over here is called Berserkers, and we can see that this is going to activate, if we want, in the clash phase. Gain 1 skull for every Berserker destroyed here this round after damage. So I think what we're going to do is to take this archery feat, I kind of like it, and we're going to put the other one at the bottom of the feat deck that we have for this hero. Now I'm going to quickly do it for the other players. Now the second part of this phase is actually to build units, towers, or walls from the reserve on any one of our havens. Obviously each faction right now has only 1 haven, so it's going to be pretty simple. So let's start with Hanzo the Traitor and see what we can create. So to be honest with you, I think that Hanzo is going to try and take out the Siren as quickly as possible because her Bane is quite powerful. So let's start with taking some archers, always my favorite part. So we can see that we have here 4 archers available. I don't think that we want to waste too much of our resources on the elite units. Let's try, because this is going to be the first chapter, to settle in with some basic units. So we also know that we want to leave at least 2 plunder, right, this resource right over here, in order to build at least 1 more haven. And we will need to leave at least, let's say, 2 food in order to command our units and move them. So let's start with wasting all of our salt right now that we can see over here. So here we have 4 salt, and we're going to put 2 archers on the haven right over here. And also I think that we're going to spend 3 food and 1 more salt in order to gain 2 more archers, right? So we're going to put it 1 over here and 1 over here. And because we have the hex limitation of 5 units, I'm going to recruit 1 more unit. So I'm going to spend 2 plunder in order to take a sellsword and put it on the hexagon. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do in this faction. I don't want to build right now any towers or walls because I think it's a little bit too early and I prefer to keep it for building a haven. So let's move on to the next faction, which is the orange player. So the orange player actually decided not to acquire one of the cards from the market, one of the items, because he doesn't want to lose his action points. The fit card that he did take in the previous step is something that is called Hide in Plain Sight, which is pretty cool. And this is something that we're going to use either in the archery or the clash phase. And with this card, we'll be able to flip this to move all of your units here to an adjacent explored hexes, skip damage. So this is something that if we see that we have such a bad roll or something like that and we cannot mitigate it, we're just going to escape. So that's pretty cool. So the orange player from faction Hakan Loremaster has only elite units, okay, which makes them more expensive, but also pretty much better. So we're going to do something relatively simple because we don't have a lot of choices. We're just going to take 1 zealot, 1 stalker, and 1 iron hooves. So let's spend 3 plunder, 3 salt, and 3 food. Okay, we're going to put it back in the supply in order to have 1 of each on the hexagon with his haven, which is going to be right over here. And that's it for this faction. We're going to move on to the next player, which is the pirates, the blue player. Okay, so first of all, the pirates are going to be this blue player. It's a new faction that we have received with the expansion Titans of the First Age. And the blue player decided actually to spend 2 of these action points to receive this item card, okay, because obviously he cannot use it since his magic is only a 1, as we can see right over here. But this item card requires 2, so he spent 2 for this. Now this card is going to activate, if we wish, only in the clash phase, and it says that if your enemy's dice show any blanks, you're going to receive 1 shield before damage on your hero's hex, and that is pretty sweet. On top of that, when we drew our 2 fit cards, this is the fit card that he received. So we can see that when we're getting that, first of all, we're going to receive 3 resources. I'm going to immediately take 3 food from the supply, and soon you're going to understand why. And then we need to decide if we want +1 in Gil or +1 in leadership. I think that here we're going to take 1 more in Gil since he has 0. So we're just going to slide it over here underneath the hero, and we're going to move on. Now, another cool thing that we have here with the pirates is that at the beginning of the game, we're going to draw a card from the mercenary deck, which is another new thing that we're seeing with the expansion Titans of the First Age. So we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but the pirates are going to draw 1 mercenary card, and that will stay with them, and they will be able to hire him if they wish to. So we can see that it's going to cost 3 food. No problem, this is why we took the 3 food, perfect. And we're going to take the mercenary standee, which is this one that we can see right over here, and we're going to place it on the hexagon with the haven that we have, that is right over here. Then we can continue building. Now, this faction is pretty unique because we don't have here the classic havens. We're going to have here blade ships, okay? So that is pretty awesome. So each blade ship is going to cost us 2 salt and 2 plunder, as we can see right over here. So we'll be able to put this blade ship on either a hexagon that already contains one of our blade ships, or on the hero's hex if it's explored, of course, and we're on an ice waste. We're going to talk about it a little bit later when we'll see the actions of the pirates, but for now I think this is good enough. So I think this is something that we really want to do, since we will not be able to build those like normal havens later on. So I think that to build the first one is going to be naturally a very good decision. And also this faction doesn't have archers, and that is because those blade chips are going to cover us in that aspect. So first of all, let's pay the 4 resources, the 2 salt and 2 plunder. And we're going to place this blade chip that we can see right over here. And let's put it right now on the hex that we are starting with, okay, this one right over here. And now let's see what else do we want. We can spend 3 salt, okay, and also 1 food in order to bring an elite warrior, okay, this shark sword. Let's put it also on this hexagon right over here. And then for our basic unit, we need to spend any 2 resources. Okay, let's do that. And I think we're going to spend 2 food just because we have a little bit more. So let's put that in order to have another raider over here on this hexagon. And now we're going to move on to the last faction, the red player, which is Kal the Destroyer. So first of all, the item that he took from the market before is this one. And it says that in the clash phase, remove 1 of your units in any graveyard from the game. Pay attention, not back to our supply or something like that, from the game completely, in order to gain 1 shield. So this is something that might help us in a later stage of the game maybe, or something that we can empty the graveyard of one of our enemies in order for them not to receive any kind of victory points. So this is something that we can use a little bit later. And also the 5th card that we have decided to take, it's this one right over here. It's called Bonfires, and in the actions phase, discard this to gain 1 basic unit on any of your havens for every horde and legion in play. This is kind of massive, okay? This is something that can help us a lot, especially later in the game when we're going to have a lot of hordes and legions. And also you can see that we have a lot of basic units. Now this faction is also a little bit different, even though it's from the basic game, because a haven is going to cost us 3 plunder, for example. But this guy, which I think is pretty much my favorite hero, has really interesting things that we're going to see later on. So let's start with taking 2 archers. We're going to pay 4 salt in order to put these 2 archers on the haven right over here. And it's going to be a little bit complicated for the red player to do something with this because he's a little bit right now far away from his army. The next thing that I want to take is actually, I think, 3 of these tribesmen that we can see right over here. Right now we have 6 availables. So let's take 1, 2, and 3. And that's pretty much the limit that we can have on our hexagon, right? We have a limit of 5 units. Now, because he still has a lot of plunder in his reserve, right? We still have 5, we didn't use it. I think that what we're going to do right now is at least try to fortify, okay, our haven right now. So we're going to pay this 2 plunder in order to add to our haven the walls and the tower. I'm not so sure it's going to come in handy, but I don't think it's going to be too bad either. So that is it, and now we're ready to move on to the action phase. So let's start with the yellow player, and the first thing that he's going to do, he's going to move his hero from the home hex that he's situated right now into this hexagon right over here. And as a second action, because this one doesn't end the turn, we're going to explore. So let's see what is the hexagon that we've just revealed. So this hexagon is called Tomb of the Elder Kings. And we have here, first of all, gain 1 plunder, which is, I guess, all the time is a pretty sweet thing to have. Also, remove any garrisons here, but we don't have any, and place 2 skeletons here. Okay, so we're going to take these 2 skeletons and we're going to put it on the hexagon in 1 more minute, and draw 1 item and keep it even if you could not use it. So that is pretty sweet bonus to have. Let's draw 1 item and see what we have. So we have this card right over here, and we can always use it. Discard this to add any 1 die to any player's roll outside of combat. So this is something that will be great for us when we're going to resolve some quests. Let's put it right over here and see how it goes later. So when we want to orient this hexagon, we can see that we have here an impassable passage, right? So if I'm just going to put it like this, the army will not be able to come over here. But also I want access to go to the siren. So I think what I'm going to do is to place it like this. It might block us a little bit later if we want to go over here. So you know what, maybe it's even a good idea to put it something like this. And of course we need to put the two skeletons right over here. And we're going to move on. That concludes the yellow player's turn, and we're going to move on to the orange player. So now, in order not to play too much with the camera, because I think that the player boards are not so interesting, I think that this angle, for example, is much better. I think that I'm not going to show you exactly what I'm doing on the player board. You're just going to have to trust me a little bit, and we're going to move on to the orange player. So the first thing that the orange player is going to do is super similar to what the yellow player did, and that is to move and to explore. So those were two action points. And I think that what we would like to do is to come over here and explore this hexagon. So let's see, what did we explore? We can see that we have here a hex that is called Golgardi. I hope that I pronounce it correctly. First of all, we're going to receive 2 food. So again, this is always nice to have. So let's take 1, 2, and put it with the orange player. Next, if empty, place 2 garrisons over here, which is pretty sweet, right? Because we have more chances for the Lich Queen to interact with our enemy. So when we need to put 2 garrisons, we're just going to take the 2 levels of the garrison and we're going to place it over it. And also, we need to place 2 garrisons on empty hexes. So now let's orient how we would like it to be. So I think that what we will do is to orient it just like this, so we can have some passage, and I don't want to be too much blocked right now, and we're going to put it right over here. Now here's something that I'm a little bit confused, because it says to put 2 garrisons on empty hexes. So to me it's a little bit plural, so I'm going to assume that they want us to put 2 level 1 garrison on 2 empty hexes, and not like a level 2 garrison on 1 empty hex. So this is what I'm going to do, and let's put 1 right over here and 1 over here. Again, guys, I know that I'm probably going to do so many mistakes in this game, but this is what I love in this company. They're like, we don't care if you're doing mistakes, just enjoy the game. In any case, it's very challenging, so I'm going to roll with that motion and enjoy the game. So the hero, of course, needs to be right over here, and we finished with the orange player. Now it's time to continue to the pirates, okay, to the blue player right over here. Now again, we have here something that is pretty interesting. Before your actions, you may move your units and or your hero to an adjacent hex with 1 or more blade chips. You can do this multiple times. So basically what it says, that we can chain, okay, the different blade chips in order to move a really big distance without paying any cost. So that is pretty huge, you guys. And I think that what I will try to do is maybe reach over here to this place for 2 reasons. First of all, because right over here on the sea tower, we can see that we have a token of a mercenary. So again, it's not only the pirates that can have mercenaries, it can be the players themselves that are going to hire mercenaries. So I really want to show it to you. I'm going to try to get over there. And second of all, I really hope to have another hex, because these blade chips are going to act like havens, so we're going to receive the resources that we have under them. And on top of that, I really want to take out the siren, okay? This really scares me, let's say. So I'm going to try and reach over there. So before we're actually moving the hero, we can see that we have here something that is called sail. This action does not end your turn, okay, like we are moving with the hero. And we can see that we can move our blade chips up to 3 times. So either 1 blade chip 3 times, or 3 blade chips 1 time per ship, and so on. I think that you understand it pretty well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is going to, of course, use this. I'm going to put an action point that is not going to end my turn, and I'm going to move this blade chip right over here. The next thing that I'm going to do is to move my hero and explore. So let's see what I'm going to discover right over here, okay? So we're coming over here, we're going to explore it. First of all, this mercenary token that we see right over here, we're going to discard, and then we're going to take one mercenary from the mercenary deck, okay? And we're going to put it right next to the sea tower. So over here, we have a mercenary that is called Darvesh, and it's pretty cool because we can see something new over here besides the mercenary, and that is another special die. So it's pretty sweet, and we're going to put it right now next to the hexagon, and that means that any hero that is coming right over here will be able to hire this mercenary. So let's flip it and see what's going on. So in this Hellhound tower, we're going to first of all gain 4 salt. That is pretty sweet, you guys. Don't mind if I do, because we don't have salt at all. Then remove any garrisons here, but we have none, and place 1 curse here. God damn, that is not good. That is not good. And also place 2 skeletons. So Jesus Christ, okay, things have got intense very, very quickly. Later we're going to see if we have maybe something to remove this curse. But I remind you that when we have a curse, that means that if we're going to have the lightning bolt sign on one of the cubes, we will not be able to use anything unless we're going to use 1 Aether, which is a new resource that we'll talk about later on in this game. Also, I don't know if you paid attention, but we have here advanced druids. Again, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's something very cool. This expansion, okay, Titans of the First Age, really changed the game in such a good way. The game was already awesome before. So our hero is going to stay right over here. And now we finished the pirate's turn, and we're going to move on to Kal the Destroyer. So he's a little bit in a pickle right over here, right? We're going to try and move back towards our haven. It's going to take a while, but really there is nothing else that we can do. So Kal the Destroyer is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to explore right over here. It's pretty much going to take all of his actions, but there is nothing else to do because I really prefer that the hero will stay with the army. So we're going to spend 4 action points, which is pretty crazy, you guys, okay? And we're going to spend another action point to explore. So the red player, Kal the Destroyer, has only 2 action points left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to explore what's going on over here. So let's see what is this hexagon. Oh, so this is something also new that we have, and this is called New Winter Home. So first of all, gain 2 resources, which is awesome. Don't mind if I do. And I think that we're going to take 2 food because we do want to recruit this little bit expensive troll. So let's take that. Also place 1 legion on the capital and its target here and only here. We don't have here an impassable terrain, okay, right? So it doesn't matter how we're going to orient it. And we're going to take now 1 legion. So let's see, who do we have right over here? So we have the assassin. The immediate effect is place her target. So first of all, let's see, this is number 10. So let's take one of these poker chips, okay, that replaced the normal tokens. So again, this is something that came with the upgraded material, which I love it, okay? It's to tell you that it's necessary, like other deluxe components, like these coins over here. No, it's really not necessary, but I have a relationship with this game and I do want to invest in it. So we took the target and we're going to put it right over here. And soon we're going to talk about another new thing that we have, and that is an advanced capital. And also, we're going to take another Bane, okay, for the Legion. So we're going to take from this sack one of the Banes that we can find. And let's see what we have over here. Lizard Riders, which is going to give a certain bonus that we'll talk about a little bit later. Again, I'm going to twist the rules a little bit and I'm going to take a Blessing card. And we're going to put it on a threat level 4, right? Because this is the first chapter. So let's put it right over here. And with this Bane, it's going to stay off the screen right now. And let's just take the stand D, which is right over here. I'm going to place it right over here on the advanced capital that is called the Nethersea Capital. Now, the important thing that we have with this advanced capital, the rules are going to be a little bit different because all of the legions are not going to go directly from the capital to the target. they first of all going to go to one of the sea towers that we have at the edges of the map, depends according to the criteria that we have right over here. And this is what is a little bit special. So we're going to have a little bit more interaction, and we need to think about a little bit more things when we're going to activate the lead gen. So I'm going to put this capital card right over here, and we have done whatever we had on this hexagon. Also, with the immediate effect of this assassin, of this legion, we can see that that player flips their starting feats. Now, it's something that we're not going to put right now, because as a reminder, usually a legion is going to choose a haven as a target, right? But here we saw that it didn't choose a haven, it just chose this hexagon, so we don't have here a haven, so I'm not going to execute this thing that we need to flip our starting feats, and also place one activation token on her card. And we finished the first round. Now we're going to move on to the yellow player. And just before I forget, I want to show you another thing that comes as a small pack, and that is the ally cards. So these ally cards are something that each hero is going to have from the beginning of the game, and this is something that is going to help us interact with the other players, okay? Each time we're going to use this ally card, it's going to be something that we're going to do for another player and not for us. I'm not so sure that we're going to see it in this playthrough, but it's something to think about. So the next thing that the yellow player would like to do is actually command his army from this hexagon to this one, and we're going to try to take out these skeletons right over here. So in order to command, we're going to take this token right over here, this action point, and we're going to spend 1 food. Now what we're going to do is to take all of these units from this hexagon and move them right over here. And immediately we're going to start a combat. So when we're starting a combat, the first thing that we're going to do is the archery phase, but since the enemy doesn't have any archers at all, it's only going to be our archers. So we have here 4 white dice, and let's roll them. And okay, motherfucker, okay, the first thing that we receive from 4 dice are just 2 shields, which is something that I'm not happy about, because I really don't want to take any losses over here. So what are our options? First of all, we can just continue to the clash phase and just act normally. But here I want to talk to you about the new resource that we have in this game that also came with the Titans of the First Age expansion, and these are the Aether. So as you can see right now, we have 4 facing up advanced druid cards. Usually, if you would like, you can start with only 1 revealed, and each chapter you're going to have 1 more. But I decided to start with all the 4 of them, again, because it's not going to be a full playthrough of 4 chapters. So we remember that every time that we're going to have this lightning, right, this lightning bolt sign on one of the dice, we can use the God power, of course, if we don't have here a curse or something like that. But here, when we have 1 Aether on one of the druid cards, we can just use it, okay, we're going to discard it into this beautiful sack that we received also, and then we can either re-roll all of our dice, okay, before we applied damage or something like that, or we can use that specific God's power. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use this Aether right over here, because I do want to re-roll all of my dice. I'm going to put it right over here in the sack. So let's roll again the dice, and this is a super cool way to mitigate a really bad roll, for example, so it's going to become a little bit less frustrating. So let's roll, and this is what I wanted to see, okay? So we have here 3 shields that we don't need, and also we have here 2 skulls, and that is what I wanted to see. And that means that these 2 skeletons right over here are dead. We can put them back in the supply. And that also means that the yellow player is now going to receive 2 victory points. That concludes the yellow player's turn. Moving on to the orange player. So over here with the orange player, we know that the Lich Queen at some point is going to either move over here or here. We're going to see it a little bit later. The next question that we want to ask is, where do we want to explore? Because I don't want right now to move my 3 units over here. It's a little bit too risky. So I think that maybe first of all, we're going to try and take out whatever we have over here. So the orange player is going to spend 2 action points. One of them is to move, the other one is to explore. And let's see what we're going to have right over here. So here we see that we have something that is called Grim Fangs. And it says, first of all, to take 2 salt. So that is great, we do need those resources. If empty, place here 2 skeletons. If not reinforced, since we already had a garrison level 1, we're going to add the second level of this garrison right over here. Plus, place 2 skeletons with other skeletons. So this is something that I really don't like seeing, because it's just going to increase the possibility of having more horde in this game. So let's take the first skeleton and put it over here. And let's take the second skeleton and put it right over there. So we finished the action of the orange player, and we're going to move on to the pirates. So as you remember, what I can do before taking the actions is to move to an adjacent location that has one of the blade ships. So I do want to do that. Let's move all of our units right now over here. And I remind you that the blade ship is not a unit, it's considered to be a haven. So the blue player will try to do something that might do some help. First of all, let's sail. So we're going to move this one right over here to this hexagon, soon you will understand why. And the second thing that I want to do is to command. So this is going to cost to the blue player 1 food. Let's put it back in the supply. And he's going to move all of his units right over here. It's a little bit risky because we have here a curse, but I think that this is something that we should do. I don't know if you can see that, but we have here 2 skeletons. So in the archery phase, we're going to have our 2 blade ships, because they're going to cover us with 2 white dice. They're going to shoot to an adjacent explored hex, of course, when we have an enemy. And also, we're going to have this mercenary that we had from the beginning of the game, and he's going to add 1 orange dice. So to be honest, we have a pretty good chance to do some damage. So let's see what's going on. I'm going to throw it, and we see that we have 1 skull and 1 shield. It's not what I wanted to see. Let's see if we have something that can mitigate that. We do have our mercenary card that says pay 1 food in order to reroll an orange die before damage. So I think I would like to do that because I don't want to take too much risk with this. We're going to pay our last food. It might be a little bit risky, okay? And we're going to reroll our yellow die. So we already know that we have 1 damage. Let's see what's going on here. And again, Jesus Christ. Again, we have here a blank die. So that means that right now we managed to kill only 1 skeleton. Let's put it back in the supply. But at least that is something that earned the pirates 1 victory point. Now we're moving to the clash phase. So of course that for the enemy, we're going to have 1 red die, right? This is the skeletons. And we're going to have 1 purple die, as we can see right over here. We're going to have 1 yellow die, and to be honest, we're going to have 2 yellow dice. So that is pretty sweet. So let's roll everything together and see what's going on. So this is purely awesome, to be honest. So here we have blank, we have 2 death, but here we have 2 lightning bolts. And we can see that in this druid card right over here, it has the possibility to place your cheapest unit in resources from the reserve here after damage once per round. So this is awesome. Let's do that first of all. Our cheapest unit is going to be this one right over here. Don't mind if I do. And also with this druid card, we can draw 1 item from the item deck. You may keep it if you can use it. Okay, so I don't mind taking this risk. Let's take the item card and see what we have over here. So it does require us to have 1 leadership, which is something that the blue player has. So it says that always you may reroll all your dice on any roll outside of combat once. Okay, that is pretty sweet. Again, it's going to help us with doing some quests. This skeleton has died, obviously, and the blue player is going to receive 1 more victory point. We finished with the blue player. Let's move on to the red player. That is in quite a pickle, but we're going to try to make the best out of it. So the red player is going to command. Okay, let's put 1 action point on the command. We're going to pay the 1 resource, and we're going to move all of the units from here to this hexagon right over here. So first of all, let's roll a die for the Legion, and we can see, not for the Legion, sorry, for the Garrison, we can see that we have here a blank, which is awesome, and we have 2 archers. Let's see what's going on. And that is 1 shield, which is terrible. And then we're going to throw these 2 dice for the Garrison since we're on the clash phase. And we have 1 skull, which is not the best. Let's keep it right over here. And we can throw 3 yellow dice and 2 white dice. Okay? So we can see that we have 2 skulls also. It's not the best. I don't like it so much. Let's see if we have something to mitigate it. We don't have anything. That means that the Garrison is going to go back to the supply. The red player is going to have 1 victory point, but we lost 1 unit as well. So I think that I'm going to actually lose 1 of the infantry, okay? And we're going to put it in the Imperial Graveyard. But now we have a card that is pretty interesting. This is a starting feat of Kal the Destroyer. And it says that after combat, if you have 1 or more units here, gain 2 resources. And that is pretty huge. So I think that what we're going to do now is going to take 2 food again, because we do want this troll in the next round. And we're going to move on to the yellow player again. Now guys, I can see that I already did a mistake, because when we fought right over here, we were on Highlands, okay, which means that we can throw only 1 die when we're doing the archery phase. Obviously, I'm not going to record it again, but again, it's a mistake and nothing happens, and we already knew that I'm going to do some mistakes. So I apologize for that. I really just want to show you how this game rolls. So it is a mistake. I should have rolled only 1 die in the archery phase, but there is nothing to do right now. We're going to move on. And the yellow player is going to build now 1 haven. So he's going to spend 2 plunder, and he's going to put his second haven right on the hex where his hero is situated. Moving on to the blue player, we think that we have here a quite interesting quest that will allow us to at least move 1 curse. He's going to roll his hero's dice, and we have here something interesting. This card is called Release the Kraken. If your hero is on a hex with a curse, you're going to receive 1 more blue die. So that is awesome because our hero is situated with a curse. So the blue player is going to have 2 red dice, 1 purple die, 1 blue die, and actually another one because of this quest card. And for the guild, I think that we will try to take a white die. So we need to have here only 1 success, and let's see what we're going to have. So let's roll it. And we have here 2 lightnings and 2 shields, so we already passed this quest very well. So I think we're going to stick with that and not going to be too greedy. So first of all, when we solve this card, we can see that we can move 1 curse to any adjacent hex that has no curse and then discard this quest. But also, we can see that right over here, because we did a success with the shields and with the lightning bolts, we can move another curse, and also we can move a 3rd curse. So that is pretty awesome. That does open some interesting things. But I think that for now we're only going to move the 1 curse that is situated right over here on this hexagon, and we're going to move it right over here. So first of all, let's discard this quest, and that pretty much summarizes the turn of the blue player, and he's out of action points. Moving on to the red player, he has 1 more action to do, and he is going to build another haven. It's going to be the last action point that he has. And the haven for Kal the Destroyer for this faction is going to cost 3 plunder. So it's quite a lot, but this faction is quite strong. So we're going to take this haven and we're going to put it right over here. Going back to the yellow player, let's see if he will be able to take out the siren. So he's going to command, let's put 1 action point right over here, and it's going to cost him 1 food. And he's going to take his hero and basically all of the army that he has right over here. So the siren is going to throw 1 red die, and we're going to throw 4 white dice. Let's see what's going to happen. And here we can see that we have 2 skulls and 1 skull for the Siren, which is great, but I'm going to try and push my luck a little bit more. And we can see that we have here this card that is called Rebel Marksman, and we can flip this in order to reroll any one of your white dice. Okay, so I'm going to push my luck a little bit. Let's see what's going to happen right over here. And here we see that we have a skull and a shield. This is probably the best outcome that I could have received. So we have 3 hits for the Siren, and the Siren does not do for us any kind of damage because we have the shield. So that is awesome. Our plan might just work. So from threat level 4, we're going to take it to threat level 1. That is really awesome. Now the Siren is going to throw 1 white die and 1 purple die. So let's see what's going to happen. We can see that we have 1 skull and 1 shield. And we're going to throw 4 white dice and 1 yellow die. So crossing fingers. You see what I mean, guys? You see what I mean? This is just insanity. Just insanity. So I'm going to again use an Aether that we can see on this Druid card right over here. And we're going to re-roll all of our dice because this is quite crazy. Okay, this is a little bit better, okay? So we're going to do 1 damage to the Siren, which is exactly what we need, and we're going to lose 1 unit. So, first of all, let's get rid of one of our units, and I think I'm going to take out an Archer. Let's put it in the Chaos Graveyard. And also, the Siren is now dead, which is really awesome. The Bane we can put outside of the game. And also, if destroyed, gain 1 victory point, and 1 victory point per Gil. So this is so sweet because the yellow player has 3 Gil. So the yellow player is going to receive 4 victory points in total. He's going to move from 2 to 6. So goodbye Siren, it really was not a pleasure. And now we can talk about the blessing card that we received. And we see that it says discard this when any legion or horde is destroyed, to give its victory points to any other player. Okay, so it might not be such an amazing card maybe, but it's something that we might use a little bit later if we see that one of the players is a little bit behind with the victory points. And we're moving on to the orange player, and he's going to try to take out this garrison right over here. So he's going to command, going to spend 1 food for it, and he's going to move all of his units right over here. So first of all, we're going to have the archery phase. So what's going to happen is that the garrison is going to throw 2 yellow dice. That is so sweet, so sweet. Now let's hope that our 1 blue die is going to do at least 1 damage. Come on, 1 damage. That's what I wanted to see over here. Nice, so far we're pretty lucky. Let's take out this part of the garrison, and that means that the orange player is going to have his first victory point. And now moving to the clash, first of all, let's throw for the garrison. So we have 1 shield. Okay, I've seen worse before. So now let's take 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 purple dice, right? We have only elites, that's pretty sweet, and see what we'll have. And we have 1 shield and 2 lightnings. We do know that we can use this again. Place your cheapest unit from the reserve here. Now, because we have the same price for all of the units, we can take any one that we want. That is awesome. I think I'm going to take another Iron Hooves. Okay, and let's put it right over here. Oh my God, now we're talking. So let's again do this clash phase. So this is what the garrison received. And now we're going to take 2 red dice. We're going to take a blue and a purple. And let's see what we're going to receive. So first of all, we have destroyed it, but I don't know if I want to take this damage. So let's see if we can do something. Well, we do see that we can use this druid card again because it's 1 spare round. So let's say that we're going to lose this unit for the matter. It's a little bit too bad because it means that there's another faction in the Imperial Graveyard. Sorry. But I'm going to place another archer right over here that I think is going to help us. So that is for the orange player. Pirates and Khal the Destroyer, the blue and the red, don't have any more action points. We're going to go back to the yellow player. So the yellow player has 2 action points, but really not a lot to do. He can try and take another quest. Let's try to do that. Let's try to do this quest right over here, that if we're winning, you can gain any one of your feats, shuffle your feat deck, discard this quest. Okay, let's try to do this, but we can see that we need here 2 wins, right? We need to have at least 2 of those signs right over here. But we do have a lot of dice. So let's see, let's take 3 white dice. Let's take the purple die and let's take the blue die. So that is quite a lot, okay? 5 dice, sorry, that is quite a lot. And let's see what we can receive. So let's roll it and we can see that we have received, we actually managed to do this because here we can see that we need 1 shield and 1 lightning, right? Those are the 2 conditions. And this is exactly what we have, right? With the blue shield and with the purple, we have 1 lightning. So first of all, that is awesome. We're going to receive 2 victory points, right? Because we accomplished this and this. So the yellow player is going to have 2 more victory points. So 8 victory points, and we're going to gain any one of our feats. So let's discard this token, and I'm going to take one of the feats. It's up to me to decide. And I think that what I will take is actually this feat card right over here that will allow us to take, first of all, 3 resources, and I'm going to add 1 red die to the hero dice of the yellow player. So 3 resources, that is pretty sweet. And I'm going to take 3 food actually, because I do want to have 1 more command. So that is for the yellow player, and now we're moving on to the orange player. So the orange player is going to explore and see what we can find right over here. So that will cost 2 action points, and let's see what we have over here. So here we have something that is called Imperial Slave Mines. Remove any skeletons here, plus place 2 garrisons. So that worked really not at all the way I wanted to. Plus roll your hero dice. Okay, so let's see, because I feel that we can receive some sort of a bonus over here, and we want as many skulls as possible. So we do have 1 purple die, 1 blue, and let's take 2 yellow dice, okay, and see what are we going to receive. So we have 3 skulls, all right. And with these 3 skulls, let's see what does it say. Gain 1 plunder per skull. So don't mind if I do, that is pretty awesome for the orange player. And also every other player gains 1 plunder. So you see, this is some teamwork. This is awesome, I love it. So I think we would like to put it just like this, because we do want to have some access over here. So let's put it right over here, and we have this. So with the last action of the yellow player, you know what guys, I think that with this action I'm going to try and take out these 2 skeletons. So let's pay the 1 food and let's command and move all the units. So first of all, in the archery phase, we know that the skeletons are not going to do anything. We, on the other hand, we have 3 white dice. So let's see what we have. Come on, baby, come on. Awesome, perfect. This is, thank God, all right. So we took out these 2 skeletons right over here, put them back in the supply, and the yellow player is again taking 2 victory points. Wow, the yellow player is on fire. So that was the last action of the yellow player, and now let's move on to the last action of the orange player, and with that we're going to conclude the action phase. You know what guys, I think we're here to play, right? So I think he's going to try and take out this garrison. Let's command 1 more time. It's going to be tough, but we're here to have fun at the end, right? I think this is what we're here to do. The garrison is going to throw 2 white dice. So let's see what we have right over here. Wow, this is, okay, this is awesome. So far, so good. And now we're going to throw 2 blue dice. So come on, give me those sweet skulls, which is a sentence that I never thought that I'm going to say, but there you go, guys. Just rolling on, I should have been in Vegas. So he's going to lose 2 garrison levels right over here. And what do I understand? Oh my God, that we almost did the same mistake, and we had here this highlands. So actually each one needs to throw only one die in archery. God damn it. So nothing to do, but since he had here 2 blank and we had 2 skulls, let's give him the one back. The orange player is going to take 1 victory point. And now we're going to continue to another round. So now he has much more dice. He has 1 blue, 2 yellow, and 1 white. Let's see what he's going to receive. That is 3 skulls. That is pretty brutal. Let's see what we can do. So we have 2 blue dice, and we also have 2 red dice. So let's hope that we're going to have something nice over here. Okay, so this is what we have. But here I want to show you a pretty sweet card that we have. Okay, this is the starting feat that is called Stalkers. And it says that in the archery or the clash, flip this. For every stalker here, you may turn 1 of your dice to show a single shield. I like that very much. So let's flip that card, and we can at least have 1 shield over here. You know what? I think that this is good enough for me. So we're just going to take 2 losses. Let's take out actually the 2 archers, because we have enough plunder. I think that we can build it a little bit later. Let's take them out. And we know that we have destroyed this garrison. So I already advanced for the orange player 2 times. And that's it, you guys. We finished the action phase. Let's move on to activating our enemies. So now we're going to go to the Nemesis phase, and let's see who is going to activate first. We have the Assassin, right? And we have the Queen Lich, but the Queen Lich has number 3 on it, so it's going to act before number 10, which is the Assassin. So when we activate the Horde, first of all, we need to put a curse, but since there is already a curse over here, and if I'm not mistaken, you cannot have 2 curses at the same icon, that means that the Horde is going to receive 1 victory point. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to move the Horde 1 hex, not farther away from the capital with a certain priority. It means that the Lich Queen can move over here or over here, right? Because it's not further away. Maybe it's not closer, but it's not further away. But the priority is a hex with a haven. So we don't have here a hex with a haven. I'm going to move on to the second one, a hex with the fewest enemies units. And the next priority is an empty hex. So an empty hex can be only here, right? Because here we have a skeleton and here we have the garrisons. So that means that this Lich is going to come over here. Now let's move on to the Assassin, okay? So first of all, when we're activating the Legion, the first thing that we need to do is to place 1 garrison, right? But here in the capital, it says, because this is the Nether Sea Advanced Capital, if you would place a 4th garrison here, place it on any empty hex with no X. If there is none, then you need to reinforce. So because we have here already a level 3 garrison, we're going to take a new one, and let's put it, I don't know, let's put it right over here for now, okay? It's an empty hex with no X on it for now. And now the Assassin needs to move. Now, in the Advanced Capital, the Assassin needs to move, first of all, to a sea tower, okay? This is what it says. So the priority is a sea tower with a haven. We don't have a sea tower with a haven. And also we have, for now, only 1 discovered sea tower. So again, I'm not so sure if it has to go over there, you know, because this is some sort of a teleport, or it can go also to unexplored places. So I think that what we will do, I don't know, in order maybe to advance the game a little bit, or just because again I'm not so sure, let's take it to the explored sea tower that we can see right over here. And of course, this is going to initiate a battle immediately. Okay, so the Assassin in the archery phase, because it's a threat level 4, is going to throw 1 blue die and 2 white dice. Okay, so let's see what it's going to have. And that is 2 skulls, okay, 2 hits. Okay, let's see if we can stand with that. So let's put it right over here for now. And we're going to throw 2 white dice, right? Because we have here 2 adjacent blade chips. And we're going to have 1 yellow die because we have this mercenary right over here. So let's see what do we receive. And this is pretty great. So first of all, we're going to do 2 damage, right? So from threat 4, we're going to take down to threat 2. And also we're going to take only 1 hit because we have here a shield. So that is pretty sweet. So let's take out this one right over here that is going to give us only 1 yellow die. And now we're going to move on to the clash. But if you can see, the assassin has this Bane that we pulled from the sack early on when we put it on the board. And it says Lizard Riders plus 1 red die. Now it's going to throw in the basic on threat level 2, 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 white. But because we have this Bane, it's going to throw 1 more red die. So that is quite a lot. I'm a little bit scared, to be honest with you. Let's throw it and see what we're going to have. So we have 2 skulls and 1 shield. Not the best, but to be honest with you guys, not even the worst. So let's put it right over here. We're on the other side are going to throw 2 yellow dice and 1 purple die. So, okay, I'm going to hope to achieve something. And also we have 2 interesting feat cards. The first one is this one that is called Nemesis Queen. Flip this to double the dice of one of your mercenaries for this round before rolling on your hero's hex. So don't mind if I do. I'm going to flip this and take another yellow die. So that is cool. And we have another cool feat card that we're going to see soon enough. So let's roll this. And we can see that we have here 2 skulls. Now, the second feat card that we can use is called the Drums of Terror. And it says that in the clash, if your enemy's dice show any blanks, gain 1 shield. So that is great, right? Because we remember that we have here 1 blank. So that means that we're going to receive 1 shield. So we can take this die out just so it will be more comfortable. We're going to take 1 damage and we're going to cause 1 damage. So first of all, let's take down the threat level of the assassin. From 2, it's going to be only on 1. So we really need 1 more damage. It's not a lot. A small one, we're going to send you out to the Imperial Graveyard. So it's a little bit too bad because the Imperial Graveyard has already 3 factions, which is 6 victory points, you guys. It's quite a lot. And let's move on to the second clash phase. So the assassin now is going to throw 1 red and 1 blue die, but another red die, of course, because remember it has this Bane. So it has 4 skulls. Oh my God, this means that we're going to lose our army. But let's see if we can do some damage as well. So we're going to throw 1 yellow and 1 purple. Let's see, come on, 1 damage, 1. Oh, this is awesome. So first of all, we do have this 1 damage, and also we have 2 lightnings here. So we're going to do 2 things. First of all, we can use this druid card that we already used. Place your cheapest unit in resource from the reserve here. So our cheapest unit of the blue player is again this guy right over here. And also we have this thing right over here that says you and your enemy ignore all skulls. You know what, guys? Let's give it 1 more chance instead of losing all our army. Let's try again, right? What do we have to lose? So again, let's throw it for the assassin. And 3 skulls. Okay, first of all, better than 4, right? And now let's throw ours. And we again see that we have 2 yellow and 1 purple. So let's throw it and see what's going to happen. Okay, so we didn't manage to defend any of them. So we're going to take 3 damage, unfortunately. So that is all of our army, including the mercenary. Now, the mercenary is actually its own faction when it's in the graveyard. At least we managed to kill the assassin. So this one is going to go away. Goodbye, assassin. Get out of my game. So we're going to receive a few things. First of all, the immediate price is if destroyed, remove her target and gain 3 victory points. So we can take her target and it can go to hell. And we're going to receive, the blue player is going to receive 3 victory points. And then we're also going to receive this blessing card that says discard this to place 1 unit from the reserve or graveyard on any hex with that player's units or haven. You know what? I think I'm going to use it immediately in order to take our mercenary from the Imperial graveyard. So let's put it right over here. We don't have much choice because the hero is not a unit and we don't have anything else. So we have to put it over here because our blade chips are pretty much like havens. And that's pretty much about it. We finished activating all of our enemies. Let's move on to the production phase. Now moving on to the scoring phase, let's start with the Empire. So first of all, 1 victory point for every hex with Garrison and Legion. So there are no legions, but we do have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is already 5 victory points. And also 2 for every faction in its graveyard. We have here 3 factions, and that is 6 victory points. That is crazy. So the Legion is going to have now 11 victory points. Moving on to the Chaos, he's going to receive 1 victory point for each curse and each horde. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 5 he's going to go to 6. And also he's going to receive 2 victory points for the faction that he had in his graveyard. So that is 2 more victory points. So it's going to be on 8 victory points. Now we can take everything that we had in the graveyards and put it back in their supply. Then we're going to move on to our scoring, and we're going to receive 2 victory points per haven. So let's start again with the yellow player. He's going to receive 4 victory points. So he's going to have 14. Then moving on to the orange player, he's going to take 2 more victory points. The blue player has 2 blade chips, that means 2 havens, so 4 victory points. And the red player has 2 havens, so also 4 victory points. And the last thing that we don't forget is that each player that has a haven on his home hex is going to receive 1 more victory point, and that means that the yellow player is going to take 1, also the orange and red. The blue, again, unfortunately, does not have a blade chip on his home hex, so he's not going to receive this victory point. And that is it, you guys. We finished the first chapter, and we're going to move all the way back to the refresh phase. Now, before we're going to stop, I'm just going to show you now what's going on. So in the refresh phase, we're just going to pass 1 druid card at a time and see if we're going to add to it more Aether. So in the top left card, it says if there are 5 or more curses on hexes, place 1 Aether. We can see that we have only 4. It does not apply to us. We're going to move to the next one. In the next one, we can see that we have if the Empire or Chaos has more victory points, then all players place 1 Aether here. This is not the case. Moving to the next one. If any player has 0 units in play, place 1 Aether. We do not have this. And the last one says that if Chaos has equal or more victory points than any player, place 1 Aether here. So we can see that Chaos has equal or more victory points than the orange player and the red player. So we are going to take 1 Aether from the supply, and we're going to put it on this card right over here. And that means that we have another Aether when we will need to use it a little bit later on. So guys, just to conclude everything that we've seen over here, beyond playing with some factions that we know from the core game and from the Arch Nemesis expansion, we had here a new faction, which are the pirates from Titans of the First Age. We saw here, I don't know if you paid attention, some new items. If we would have continued to another chapter, I would have shown you a new quest, but I don't want to take too much of your time. We saw here mercenaries, the army of Azul. We saw here the allies card. We didn't see it actually in action, but we know it's there, which is pretty cool. We saw here the blessing cards that we used. We saw the Banes. We saw really beautiful new material, Deluxe. We saw the trays of the players. This is something that is very cool, to be honest with you. Of course, again, it's not at all mandatory, but it's so comfortable that everything just sits in front of you. I love it. We didn't manage to see it in action, but there are some new dice over here that some of the enemies are going to use, or some of the mercenaries, for example, some units, which is pretty cool. We have like 2 shields. We have this star that is like a Joker. It's really awesome. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you next time.